Right. Earlier, the Electoral Commission indicated that it will not supervise the NDC's May 13 primaries until the court suit was settled. My colleague Eric Mawena Egbeta has been following the issues.
It is barely 72 hours to the start of the final phase of a year-long party reorganization by the National Democratic Congress. The presidential and parliamentary primaries are to elect candidates for the party in next year's general elections. That election now stands challenged after one of the presidential aspirants, Dr. Kwabena Duffuor, filed an interlocutory injunction halting the May 13 election over challenges with the party's electoral roll. The suit, which copies the NDC, the Electoral Commission and the other two candidates, John Mahama and Kojo Bonsu, wants the primaries held only after a credible register is made available 5 clear weeks from the election. With the court set to sit on May 15, Director of Legal Affairs for the NDC has minced no words in questioning the rationale behind the suit. The Dr. Duffuor campaign is unperturbed. They want the full complement of the register.
I would not really engage the Director of Legal Affairs because what he's supposed to be doing is to be engaging the issues, the anomalies, the infractions that Dr. Duffuor's team have presented to the party. It's a 40-page document. And it's important to note that Dr. Duffuor should rather be commended for the speed and thoroughness and detail, paying attention to details that he's exhibited through this process. The concern is not whether the aspirants got 200 information or not. The concerns are the instructions that have been identified in the 220 constituencies that have been provided.
While the NDC as a party works to resolve the challenge, the Electoral Commission has at a meeting rescinded its decision to supervise a presidential and parliamentary poll until the challenges are addressed. Citing the suit by Dr. Duffuor, in which they have been copied, Chair of the EC, Jean Mensah, said, "In order that we are not cited for contempt, the Commission has taken the decision not to supervise the conduct of the presidential and parliamentary elections until after the determination of the case by the court." The Electoral Commission added it will only resume its duties after the determination of the matter.
Let's now go through the reliefs being sought by Dr. Kwabena Duffuor at the High Court. Among the reliefs he's seeking is a declaration that the register issued by the NDC is incomplete and inaccurate. Also, that the NDC be ordered to prepare and deliver a complete and accurate register at least 5 weeks ahead of the elections. And also an injunction restraining the NDC from conducting the presidential primaries on May 13. Let's now speak to Abraham Amaliba. He's head of the NDC's legal team. Thank you so much for your time. First of all, we understand that you secured a permit that the case be brought to Friday, May 12. Can you confirm this for us?
Yes, I can confirm to you that the lawyers of the party have filed an application for abridgment of time, which will be moved on Friday, so that the case can be heard on that day. So that I can confirm to you.
And what's the party's reaction to the Electoral Commission saying that it will not supervise the elections until the court case is heard?
Well, it is expected. It is expected. I've already told my executives that once the EC is set, the EC will stay its hands off until the matter is determined. And so it's not surprising. And I don't think that we should blame them for that.
Yeah. Was the party surprised that Dr. Duffuor took this case to court instead of maybe resolving this amicably?
Not only surprised, we are livid, we are angry. The delegates are all livid and angry. They are calling from all over the country and they are not happy. Dr. Duffuor could have activated internal processes Dr. Dufour could have brought this to the attention of the Council of Elders. We have Council of Elders in this party. Dr. Dufour has failed to do that. And most of the things he's complaining about are matters that can be resolved easily. And so this application for me is mischievous, and I would say that it is frivolous and vexatious as well.
Has the party also made efforts to meet him halfway to resolve these?
Well, I am focused on the legal bit. I'm sure the leadership of the party would also be considering that aspect. But for now, what I can tell you is that we have secured a date on Friday for them to move the motion, for us to move the motion for the abridgment of time.
Are you hopeful that everything will be resolved for the primaries to go on Saturday?
That is our expectation, but we can only wait to hear what the court will say on Friday.
Thank you so much for your time. I've been speaking to Abraham Amaleba. He's head of the NDC's legal team.
Well, we're going to stay a while longer on this subject, Portia. I've just been joined on the phone lines by Professor of Political Science, Ransford Jampo. He'd also help us with his own analysis on this developing issue within the National Democratic Congress, the largest opposition party, who are hoping to go to the polls on Saturday to elect parliamentary aspirants as well as a presidential candidate for next year's general elections. But, Portia, I mean, I'm a bit surprised that, I mean, the kind of words used on Dr. Dufour, frivolous, mischievous, vexatious. Yeah. Well, I'm told Ransford Jampo is on the phone lines. Thank you, Mr. Jampo, for your time. I just heard the head of legal for the NDC team describe Dr. Dufour's writs at the High Court as mischievous, frivolous, and vexatious. I'm wondering why the party would use such strong words on someone who's been very keen and helpful in the formation of the NDC until now. I mean, if he's got issues with the voters register and the album, he has every right to raise issues, doesn't he?
Yes, good evening. I think that electoral contestation in political parties operating in democratic systems must always be fair and conducted on level playing fields. People should also have the right to express dissent and concern about the processes leading to such electoral contestations. And so, ideally, it is not wrong if somebody who is part of a flag bearership contest feels that things are not going the way they are expected to go, and the person decides to express concerns about them. I mean, you don't ideally would want to foul the person. But you see, in multi-party democratic practice, and in the internal arrangement and operations of political parties, the express of dissent and concerns should always be legitimate and be devoid of mischief. Now, I've been studying what is going on, I've been following what is going on, and I am not too happy with the way and manner those who are expressing, or Dr. Dufour who is expressing dissent is going about is going about the way he's expressing dissent. Now, when there are other alternative dispute resolution mechanisms provided for by the party, these alternative dispute resolution mechanisms must first be used rather than resorting to the adversarial processes of the courts that could lead to unnecessary political sellouts, unnecessary washing of dirty linens of the party in public, and unnecessary fratricidalism by people who are supposed to be from the same political family.
But Prof, quickly, let me just come in, Prof. You would know, as I do know, that this was not Dr. Dufour's first option. Indeed, he had written to the party to get this matter resolved, and it didn't appear, or it didn't look like the party was interested. and so he had to resort to the legal means.
You are too exuberant in your interviews. That's what you always do. Please calm down and let me make my point so you can ask follow-up questions. Otherwise, you truncate my thoughts. And if you do that, I don't enjoy the interview.
I understand you, Prof, but we do not have all the time. And so I need to come in when I have to. Please, respect that for me.
Make sure that you have enough time, because you know I like to explain. And so don't take much of the time by these unnecessary interjections.
I think it's unfair to say it was unnecessary. I mean, I just had to come in and batten. Please, just make your point.
You are fond of doing this. So, all right. So, what I'm trying to say is that just in response to whatever you said, what you just said, before I proceed, I want to say that beyond writing just to the party, you should know that every political party has got different categories of people. If you just write to the leadership, sometimes you may have hawks among the leadership, but you may have very sober-minded people who would operate in their capacity as council of elders and other countervailing agents within the party who, when some of these legitimate concerns are brought before them, they would be able to help in resolving them before you think about proceeding to the court. So I'm of the view that he did not exhaust. I mean, just writing to Aseedun Ketia and co. as an elderly person himself, I mean, in my view, shouldn't have been the only way out. If you write to the leadership of the party and they are unable to resolve or they are delays, you move beyond the leadership to dealing with the Council of Elders, for instance. And I believe that they would wield some moderating influences and they will be able to soberly analyze the issues and bring a finality to that. But if you decide to go to court, then it means you want to be adversarial. And in my view, this shouldn't be the portion of people who belong to the same political family. It is not right. And I'm looking forward to somebody standing up to just call him to order and to ensure that this is resolved internally rather than using the adversarial court process. It is not good. And the other bit is that it is also a serious factor that may, if not checked now, may undermine the electoral fortunes of his own son, Dr. Kwabena Duffuor Jr. Some of the delegates are unforgiving about some of these things. And so they can easily link your political fortunes to what your father may have done that they may feel might have hurt the party in one way or the other. And so it is important. I'm not sure he may have considered this, or people who are behind him may have considered it. But they should also think about the electoral fortunes of the son, Kwabena Duffuor Jr. It's also important. And so I believe that if there are mechanisms within the party, conflict resolution mechanisms within the party, they should activate that. They should talk in the house. It's a family matter. They should sit down and iron out their differences.
All right, Prof, I've got to say a big thank you to you. I do appreciate your time. It's always a pleasure speaking to you on News 360. Professor Jampo is a political science lecturer with the University of Ghana. Thank you, sir, for your time.